Hi, I'm Dr. Michael Larson, inventor of the Sleep Shepherd. We created the Sleep Shepherd, well, to help all those people who know the feeling of missing out on a good night's sleep. For some, that's a once-in-a-while problem, but for many, it's a long-term, persistent issue that needs to be addressed. And it's one thing to deal with those issues yourself, but when you see someone you care about dealing with a sleep disorder, it's very difficult. And I know my daughter has a sleep disorder, and the drugs that are intended to help her sleep better simply don't. We created the Sleep Shepherd to help her and all the other people who are not sleeping well enough. In fact, the CDC has identified lack of sleep as a public health epidemic. An epidemic that affects more than 70 million Americans. So we wanted to come up with a device that would be a drug-free alternative for helping those people get that good sleep that they need.
There are a lot of sleep tracking apps out there. The problem with most of them is that they only use an accelerometer to tell whether or not you're sleeping. And so they assume that if you're moving, you're awake, and if you're not moving, you're asleep. But we know that sleep's a lot more complex than that. The difference with the Sleep Shepherd is that it's actually monitoring your brain waves, so it can tell what type of sleep you're in.
We're very excited to be introducing this new tool because we think we can address a large part of the problem and help the average American. Over $59 billion has been attributed to lost worker productivity. This is the largest health epidemic of the 21st century.
I always sleep with a fan on at night because I have to have ambient noise. When I put the Sleep Shepherd on, I feel like I'm going into my own little cocoon, if I can say. And then when you hear the tones in your ears, it lulls you to sleep. I no longer need that fan.
While we don't know everything about sleep, we're sure of two things. One, we need it. And two, when we're in it, our brain activity slows down. So our challenge was to create a device that would lull the brain to sleep and slow down its activity. And the first thing we thought of was an image of a hypnotist with a pendulum in front of someone. But we wondered, could we have an auditory solution to accomplish the same thing? Sleep Shepherd slows your brain rate activity down. And the way it does this is by exploiting the natural structures that locate the source of sounds for us.
When we hear a sound, there's a part of our brain that can actually tell where the sound is coming from. It's called the medial superior olive. The Sleep Shepherd is this part of our brain to create the sensation that there's a sound source swaying back and forth in front of us.
By specially designing tones that we pump directly into each ear, we exploit that and create a sensation of a sound source that moves back and forth by exciting these network of nerves in a very controlled fashion.
Instead of fighting against this frequency, your brain actually wants to adopt that frequency. As it adopts it, we drop down the tones, guiding you towards sleep.
And we call this process the virtual hammock.
Once the Sleep Shepherd has guided you to sleep, the tones automatically shut off, but it continues to monitor your brainwaves throughout the night, and it's smart enough to know if you wake up. If you do, the tones come back on, easing you back into sleep. When we were designing the Sleep Shepherd, we knew it had to be comfortable, so we selected a fabric that was stretchy and breathable. For the sensors, we selected a soft conductive fabric. This ensures that we can monitor your brainwaves throughout the night.
It's very comfortable to wear. All the electronics are contained at the top of that. It's very, very lightweight. The whole hat itself weighs less than a pound.
I've tried everything and nothing works. This is the only thing that works, and I want everybody to experience what I've experienced.
And what's exciting is the Sleep Shepherd is unlike any other sleep aid currently available. It's a self-contained solution that measures your brain waves and actively slows those down to lead you to sleep in an all-natural, drug-free way.
The problem with drug-based solutions is that it's actually forcing your brain into doing something it doesn't really want to do. When we set out to design the Sleep Shepherd, we wanted an all-natural way to work with your brain, not against it.
So all of these reasons, in addition to first-hand experience actually sleeping with a Sleep Shepherd on, prompted a Harvard-trained MD to call the Sleep Shepherd the most significant drug-free sleep innovation in years. And my daughter? She's sleeping better with the Sleep Shepherd. I took the path of inventor and engineer in hopes of making someone's life better. It's all the more satisfying that that someone is mine.